Welcome to the Dr. Mudgil podcast. I've been trying to put this one together for a couple of weeks now. I got my man M. Session Faluke here, better known, I would say, as Oyay Mayo. So Oyay, I found out about Oyay through one of my buddies from high school, actually my buddy from middle school. He sent me a Vice video, which showcased your hustle, basically, making nutcrackers or grown-up juice, I guess, also goes by. And it was a great video. It was like just a really slick video. But in that video, you really kind of conveyed your hustle, and it showcased a little bit of the marketing and using social media to brand yourself, which was very different, I think, than other folks who make nutcrackers. You have your own brand of it called Oyays, which everyone knows that's the brand. It's kind of like the Nike of nutcrackers, I would say.
Right here. We got it right here. Yeah.
Yeah, right there, or like the Rolex of nutcrackers, or the Bentley of nutcrackers, whatever way you want to put it. But so I saw that, I was like, that's pretty cool. And then I kind of went into like a little bit of a deep dive about you. So obviously I went to Google and I found there was a New York Times article about you. You've been written up in a couple of places, and you kind of are, I would say, like the nutcracker ambassador. Like you're kind of like the go-to guy for media when it comes to like exploring the culture, and and I think just especially during this time of the shutdown, people couldn't go to bars, and New York City, I mean, I'm from New York too, and it's just basically a shit show.
Right.
Everything's shut down, and the summer was kind of a wash for a lot of folks, and that's where you stepped in, man. But you also have a very interesting background and an interesting story, so thank you so much for being here, man. I really appreciate this, and I'm really super excited to learn more about you and hear about your story, my man.
Nah, man, I appreciate you, man. I'm just happy to be here, Doc.
Love it, man. Love it. All right, man. So let's get into it a little bit. So I'm going to get into all of the stuff in terms of your business model and how you've expanded your business. But before we get to that, the backstory is always for me like the most interesting part. So you're a New York City guy, right? You grew up in Queens.
Born in Brooklyn, grew up in Queens.
Yes, I was born in Brooklyn too.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I lived in Start City for a while before we moved out to Long Island. My brother, who's 7 years older than me, when he was starting high school, we actually got out of Start City and moved to the burbs.
Okay, I was about 6. I was in Bed-Stuy, and then we moved out to Queens. Where?
Cool, man. So just when you Google Google your name, there's a lot of stuff that comes up about basketball. So I imagine that you're a great player growing up. I know you played for college. You played for New Paltz.
Definitely.
And there's a lot of actually footage of you that you can find online, like YouTube and stuff like that. And then you studied business, right?
Yeah, marketing.
Cool. So I mean, go figure. Was that you picked it, or did you have an interest in business?
I had an interest in business. I went to school for business, but I first chose finance. And then I got into finance, and then I realized that I did not want to be sitting behind a desk crunching numbers, but I love numbers. I got introduced to marketing. I said, I'm just going to go with marketing. And then it just fit my personality perfect.
So were you going to New Paltz primarily as a student, or were you going as like a ball player and looking for like advance your career in basketball?
No, actually, I started basketball late. I was a late bloomer. I played 1 year high school basketball. I didn't have a lot of, support in basketball because it was always academics. It was always business. That was always preached in my household. And then I got good at some point in my adolescence, and it all came together. Senior year, I averaged, I think it was like 24 points, 14 rebounds. Oh, and wow. Then I made a little highlight tape, sent it out to a bunch of colleges, but I didn't have anybody necessarily looking for me. It was 1 year senior. So everything I do, everything that I've done has been me promoting myself to get, what I'm saying? I'll see something, I'm like, oh shoot, I can play ball. All right, let me put this tape together and send it to some colleges, even though I don't got nobody that's really looking for me. And, I got a couple calls and I ended up going upstate.
That's amazing, man. So you were actually into marketing before you were into marketing.
Right, because in high school, I went to my first high school, my first high school at a private school. I went to arts and business, and they had a business program. I was always a part of that. Growing up in different programs, I used to run a business group for a music project that a bunch of my friends were doing. We had a bunch of artists. We had the graphics people, and we were the marketing business people. And we came up with like little stock trust funds for people to invest in the music. And, so I've always had that doing prepaid legal at 16, using my mom's account, trying to sign people up and doing that. So I've always had
Wow.
that push. Yeah.
You're always a hustle. Well, you mentioned a couple of minutes ago that business was very important, like in your household. Like what do your parents do?
Well, not necessarily business, more academics, more looking at the bigger picture, doing things outside of the norm, and basketball and things that, like, for my mom, she just always pushed me to do different things and look at different opportunities. And business was one that I always looked at. Yeah.
Gotcha.
My mom is an educator. She has a doctorate degree in African American studies and things of that nature. And my dad is a celebrity vocal coach.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. He was on MTV's Making the Band with Diddy and Day 26 and Danity Queen, and then after that, he worked with a bunch of different celebrities, and he's still in the business, vocal coaching.
So he's a singer?
He was singer songwriter up into his career, turned into vocal guru. He's really a spiritual guy, so like the entertainment industry wasn't necessarily 100% for him. So he went into the teaching field of music. And then, in his later ages, landed right back into the entertainment industry through teaching and as a vocal coach.
Oh, that's fascinating, man. That's pretty cool. So your expectation for you going to college was like, obviously you're playing ball, but like you're studying business was like the main focus for you when you got to school.
Right. I mean, but it was really having fun. You know what I'm saying? At that point, I was good at school. I could always, pass and study, but that partying experience, being away from home, having your own like place, and you could do whatever you want, man. That experience was just amazing, and being able to find yourself and what you want to do, and a marketing degree. My path hasn't necessarily been the one that my shit go over your head, over here, and then oh shit, look, I'm here. So. Yeah, so I've tried a bunch of things in college. It just wasn't necessarily. I went for marketing. Basketball popped up late in my life. I was really good at that. So I went there for that too. Just finding myself and finding all my talents and trying to take advantage of those.
So you graduated? You graduated from New Paltz?
Yep, 4 years.
And then, so did you like get a marketing job after that? Because I know there was like you played basketball overseas or something like that.
Right. So I played semi-professional. My 4th year in college, I was done with my eligibility. So then I just played semi-professional my last 3 months while I was in school upstate for a semi-professional team, the Hudson Valley Hawks. So I played with them. We won the championship. I was like the MVP of the game, scored 50 points for the championship game. Then I played with them another year when I graduated. But again, just didn't really have 100% ambition for the NBA. I was really just honing in on my talents, having a good time with that. And in that, I tripped along certain things in basketball. So basketball has opened up plenty of doors. I graduated. I got on Spike TV show, Pros versus Joes. I got to play against Alonzo Mourning, Eddie Jones, Antoine Walker. And I'm like 23, just coming out of college. Rucker Park champion, New York City Rucker Park champion, all-star from like all of the big tournaments, West Fourth, Dykeman, all of these different leagues in New York City. I did go overseas to play in FIBA, which is the International Basketball League. They have a 3-on-3, and they started it some years ago. Now it's actually an Olympic sport, where it's pretty big. It's an Olympic sport now, but I started that 2012 and 2013. I went to Puerto Rico and Mexico City. My team made the world tour. Puerto Rico, I think we did semifinals. Mexico, I think it was semifinals again. But basketball has always been in my life. Coach kids out of college. My first marketing job, really, and it wasn't even a job, it was a hustle too, because my dad, he had just got on Making the Band. I graduated. So when I came home, my father is being seen by millions of people on a weekly basis. And I'm like, Dad, we got to make some money. How can we make some more? Or how can we make some more money off of this? So I was like, I came up with this idea. Like, we're going to do a showcase and a workshop. And we're going to try to go to city to city. We're going to start in New York. And we're going to do a workshop for a week long. We're going to do classes of 25 people each. We're going to charge them $500 each student. I think it was 3 weeks or 3 class. I forget how many workshops we did. This is years ago. And then at the end of the workshop, we would do a showcase where everybody can invite their friends and family to a venue, and we'll do a showcase where they can sing. And we did that. We did that in Jersey. We did that in New York a few times. And that was like my first marketing, because I was the marketing manager. I mean, it was my job, but it was my dad, so he had to be the boss. So I was the marketing manager, but really the creator, really the innovator of that for him. And we made money. I mean, we made money. And that was like my real first, and it wasn't a job. It was like me doing my thing, and my dad like granting me the permission to use his name and likeness and push that and market that. You know, I got in cars. I used to do parties and promote parties. So when Making the Band had just got chosen, so the 5 members, I got access to them. So I'm taking them to North Carolina. One of my old coaches was coaching down there at the school. He was like, yo, bring them down. I'll give you a couple grand and I'll give them some money. Boom, brought them down there. I did a bunch of, different things straight out of college, with really entrepreneurship. And then, at some point it was like, all right, I got to get a job, got to be steady within the hustle, because hustles go up and down. And, I don't know that. I'm figuring it out. I'm real stubborn. My parents are trying to tell me, get a job. I'm like, nah, man, I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing. And, but eventually I got, different little marketing jobs. Working with kids, really working with kids was a lot easier to obtain a position. Coming up out of college, everybody wants all of this experience, and then entry-level jobs they don't pay that much. So I really got into kids, a lot of the camps, a lot of basketball camps, New York Knicks camps, Philadelphia 76er camps, hoop group up in, I think they're in Poconos, basketball city, different camps and clinics, and working on Sundays at a school in Long Island with a Game 7 basketball as one of the head coaches, and putting over 100 kids through drills for 5 to 7 hours throughout that day. That's better pay than I was offered as a entry-level marketing guy at $12 an hour. At least I'm getting paid $25 an hour or $30 an hour to do my thing. And then eventually I was able to, I worked as a social media specialist at Resorts World Casino, the only casino out here in New York City. So they actually created a position. Go ahead.
That's one in Queens, right?
Right, the one in Queens. So when that opened, I applied for a job. I got an advertising job. I was there for 3 months under advertising, like a coordinator, $12 an hour. One of those positions that we're talking about, entry level. I hated it, only because I wasn't getting paid, and I felt like they would treat me like, at that point, I think I'm like 27, 28. And I was like, gave myself to the corporation. Like I gave myself to the man. I was like, all right, here I come. Give me a job. All right, let's do it. And for 3 months, and then a position opened up, or my boss quit. I got the chance to speak to the VP of marketing. They really liked me. They gave me a position, social media specialist. That's when social media, the positions was just opening up in all of these corporations. So I think I was getting paid like $25 or $30 an hour, whatever it was. It was really good pay, I felt like. And I got to use my camera, talk to celebrities, just Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I started it all for them, built it up, not to where it's at today, but, until I left. Marketing, but I use marketing throughout the whole life. People don't understand that marketing is almost like a life skill. Yeah. It's a life skill that everybody should have at some level of, because when you're going to get a job, you're marketing yourself. If you're going to go play for a team, or your high school team, or your junior high school team, or whatever you're going for, you have to market yourself in a certain way that you want to be seen. So everybody's marketing, whether they call it marketing or not, or if they're doing good or bad. But it's a life skill, and I think people should really look at it as that as well.
I think that's so well said, man. So when you had this like 9 to, well, I don't know if it was 9 to 5, but when you had like when you were working for the man, how long did that last for?
Man, you want to know the truth, man. Like most of my jobs, probably 95% of the jobs I've had, I've gotten let go, like fired. And it's always at a point where I feel like there's like a glass ceiling and there's nowhere to go. And God just blesses me, and it's like I get fired and I move on. So I've had several different jobs. After the casino, I think that was 2 years. And then in between the casino and the next job, that's when I actually started the brand Oyays.
So let me just stop right there for a minute. So how old are you now?
I'm 35.
You're 35.
Yep.
How old were you like when you started Oyays on the side?
Oyays as a brand, I want to say 29.
Nutcrackers, just Nutcrackers.
2005. I was a sophomore in college.
Okay. So in college, you had a little side hustle going where you would sell nutcrackers at parties and stuff, or like events, concerts,
Parties,
like that.
whatever was going on campus, I was the man. Late night, I was the man. And then coming out of college, I didn't necessarily do nutcrackers. I didn't do nutcrackers. I may have did it a couple years between 21 or 22 and 29. I may have did it a couple summers here and there, but nothing like really at all.
Okay, so just like a lot of my audience may or may not know what nutcrackers are. So basically, nutcrackers, it's like an urban drink, probably mid '90s, from what I understand, started in like Dominican neighborhoods like Washington Heights.
Definitely.
Basically, like rum mixed with fruit juice, or vodka mixed with fruit juice, and whatever, even like Everclear mixed with fruit juice, just like drink. They taste good, and then basically, you kind of get out of your mind like after you drink a couple of those.
Right. I'm on the crack one in a minute. I'm getting hot.
So, so it's like a summer drink. Like you're at the beach or at a concert, you're like hanging out in the park, whatever, and it's like a refreshing alcoholic beverage for adults.
Right.
So then that developed into a whole subculture. So between like you were kind of at the beginning ish of it, like to been around. You probably drank nutcrackers in high school with your friends and stuff like that. Even though you're not supposed to, but of course
Right.
that's just kind of how it worked. And it's an easy drink to disguise that has alcohol in it because it looks like fruit juice. It's in like a fruit juice container, essentially. And so during college, obviously, it's like a very good drink to have around. If you're at a concert on campus or whatever, to hanging out on campus and stuff.
Right.
So
anything. I mean, we used to sneak them in the clubs. We used to do it all.
So you were living the culture, you were exploiting the market a little bit, saying, okay, this is a good little side hustle. I can make some extra money. You'd make it, I don't know, in your dorm room or frat house or wherever it was. Take it to campus and start doing it. And you're like, that just I don't want to speak for you, but kind of when the seed I would imagine for you got planted, like, oh, this is like a cool little side hustle where I can get some cash in my pocket.
Right. I mean, I'm a quick thinker, so I got introduced to it that year. Like somebody told me about a nutcracker. I remember it was sophomore year, and it was like it's colada. They got different flavors. You get it uptown. And I was like, I didn't know where to get it from. I never tasted, or I tasted it his, but I didn't know where to get it from. I had no clue where to get it from. I just created my own. I got Kool-Aid and water and liquor in water bottles and made my own. And then that was it. And like I still to this day probably never tasted the official nutcracker from whoever made the official one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just that's what it was. Me hearing about it, oh shit, we can make money off of that. All right, let's try it. And then we just started making money. I was selling 1 for $5, 3 for 12. Great prices on college campuses. We were making great profit because the bottle of liquor was only costing us $15, and everything else was only costing us $5, $10 with the sugar and the Kool-Aid. So $25 could make us $150, something like that. Then $100, we doing good. We doing really good.
Right.
And I had a couple of my roommate. Me and him were partners in it at the time, and we made song about it. Nutcracker sipping. A little mixtape. If you bought a mixtape, if you bought 2 drinks or something, you get the mixtape for free. If you bought a mixtape, you get a drink for free or something. I forget what the deal was, but we used to do it like that. It's great. It's crazy because I get to talk about it and reminisce. But yeah, Nutcracker Sipping was a song on campus that people were like really fuck with. Like if we used to promote it, push it. We didn't perform it because we were like, we ain't rappers, man. We businessmen. We in college. We ain't rappers. But we damn sure was in the studio.
That's amazing, man. All right, so now let's fast forward again now. So you said the summer, what year was it when you actually started the Oyay brand?
I want to say 2014.
Oh, so 2014. Okay, so talk to me a little bit about that. So, were you selling like nutcrackers on the side at that point before you started the Oyay brand?
No, I think at the time I didn't have a job. I had just been laid off from the casino. Probably, I think I'm getting unemployment. Didn't have a job. Playing a lot of basketball, hanging out in the neighborhood. And a really good friend of mine, I kind of like look at him like a big brother. You know what I'm saying? We had a conversation. He was like, man, you should sell drinks, man. You'd be good to market it. I'll take care of everything else. We just, you know what I'm saying? We'll go 50-50, make it happen. So, you know what I'm saying? He was a man of his word, man of my word. We did what we did. And that's what birthed it that summer, the Oyays brand. And then from then on, I kind of ran with it and took it to where it's at now.
So where's the Oyay come from, man? What's the significance of Oyay?
Oyay, man, honestly, man, because I'm going to take it back to where it originally came from. Oyay is like the opposite of it's not the opposite. It's like it's different than what the street is, but it's not the street, right? So what's mostly sold in the street that's not really good for your community is like crack, right? And what comes from crack is yayo, right? Yayo. So I'm the opposite. We're the opposite of yayo. So we on the streets, we next to it, but we just not that. So let's make it opposite. So let's take something that I can sell in the streets and make it corporate. You know what I'm saying? People sell crack and cocaine, and then they go and start rapping and entertaining, and then they got to stop doing that and just talk about doing that and just do something else, which don't make no sense. So why not be a part of something, create a culture where you can take and be yourself and continue to run with it and take it as far as you could. So that's the the real background behind it.
Really, that's brilliant, man. So you came up with that name that summer, like 2014, or was that something?
Right. Actually, my partner did. The funny thing is, right, I had just changed my name. I was OJ the Juice Man, basketball player, a videographer, entrepreneur type of dude. That's what people knew me for. And I was stepping into, like, I wanted to start making music. I wanted to do different things. And, OJ Simpson and OJ the Juice Man, the actual rapper, they already had that lane. So I had changed my name to Oyay, and I spelled it Oye, right? And that's what it was. And then maybe a few days or a few weeks, me and him had this conversation, and he's had this idea. It wasn't like it was organic. It wasn't like he played off of me and took something from me. No, he had this idea. I had made this move without even making it a public thing. So it was just organic how he had that idea. We good friends. Boom, I already changed. Then maybe the next year I changed the spelling of how I spelled Oyay just to keep it branded as it is. But that's the true story.
Well, I love it, man. That's a good backstory.
Right.
So you start. Oh, it's 2014. You start. Okay, we're gonna sell these drinks. We're gonna call them Oyays. And what next? Like, did you make labels? Like, I don't.
We had labels, but every drink didn't have a label. It wasn't a big thing at first. See, me and my partner used to go back and forth. He wanted to do the labels at first. I didn't, because I used to sell nutcrackers here and there. And I was a little scared. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know if we're going to put a name on it, and then they're going to know where to find us. And, because.
It's illegal.
Right. It's illegal, and I don't know. Right. Until I sell it for the summer. And we did put labels on it here and there, but not all the time. And then the next year I realized, the label is actually the best thing to do, because it takes you out of the category of what everybody else is doing. And that was the lesson learned in the first year.
So 2014, you developed the brand Oyay. 2015. So is it a summer thing? Was it just
summer thing? It's always been a summer thing.
Okay.
It's always been a summer thing. It's just that towards maybe 2018, 2019, the summer months, I extended them. I mean, it started in April and went all the way until November. Gotcha.
So basically the brand is building every summer. So 2014, you get your start. 2015, it's a little bit bigger. You got your, they're known as Oyays. Everything is labeled as Oyays. I think one of the things I read, was you're like it's a higher end brand. Like the bottle is better. The label is better. The cap is better. The ingredients are better. The process is better. The alcohol is better. Like, you actually use Hennessy.
Right. So that's where it started. Because when I first started selling drinks, before I created the Oyays, I was selling nutcrackers here and there between 5 or 6 years. It's here and there, maybe an event, a big parade or something like that I would run to. But I noticed everybody would say, nutcrackers, nutcrackers, nutcrackers. All you would hear, nutcrackers, nutcrackers, nutcrackers. So me being part of that, I'm saying nutcrackers too. And I'm like, I don't like to say nutcrackers, because my drinks are specifically different brands. So I got a Henny drink, and in that Henny one, I may have different flavors. I may have mango, I may have colada, I may have grape. And then I got vodka, and that's Ciroc. And I may have peach, I may have mango, whatever different flavors and different liquor categories. So I realized that I had to start getting people's attention differently, because people were starting to look at nutcrackers at the time as Bath made, handmade. Who made those? Where'd you get those from? I don't know. Let me look at your face. If you don't smile the right way, I'm not gonna buy it from you. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I had to differentiate the way I marketed myself in the marketplace. So it became Henny, Patron, Ciroc, Rum Punch, or whatever I had liquor. I would just say that the brand of liquor that I had, and that would catch people's attention that much more quicker. And I noticed within a year or so of me doing that, and me training my guys that come with me doing that other nutcracker dealers I would start hearing Grey Goose. Oh, I got Henny, I got Patron, I got this, and I'm looking around like, shit, y'all was saying nutcrackers last year, like, you know what I'm saying? So they notice the difference in people's reaction, and you get more sales like that.
So you were getting more market share, you'd say, by saying Hennessy or Ciroc or but the brand, like, did you? That was like you were getting more market share of selling the nutcracker.
Right. And wherever marketplace I was at, and definitely the way I come off. You know what I'm saying? If I go somewhere, different places depending on where it's at. But on a good day, I'm gonna be with 3 good guys, 4 good guys, and we all tall, 6'5" and better, 6'3" and better, basketball, handsome, smiling, joking with the people, good vibes. Everybody don't look like us that are selling these drinks. So that's another a layer of marketing that I make sure that, you know.
Right. Well, you covered all angles, man. So when did you start actually, like, because it sounds like you've had a big presence in social media for a very long time. You know, like you were developing social media for the casino, like when, you know, they didn't have any social media. No one really had much social media back then. So from day one, were you documenting this on social media, Instagram?
Yeah, from day one. From day one. I got videos and pictures from 2015, 2014 really, but really 2015 was when I really created the Instagram page, started just marketing, doing little videos, and just because I have a background, my background is included in all of that other stuff. I ran a blog. The blog was called POW TV. Me and my partner started it. I think at one point we was at 50,000 views a month. We were doing interviews, like on-camera interviews with artists like Trina, K. Michelle, Meek Mill, Wale. We had DJ Khaled. At some point, he was around Rick Ross and Diddy and French Montana. And all of these videos are on YouTube, so people can check them out on POW TV. But I kind of separated myself from that. But in that, I did all of the editing of the videos. If I wasn't shooting the video, I was in the video. And then I would come home and edit the videos. And we would try to, you know, beat certain publications to whatever event we was at. If something went down, we got to run home and edit and then try to send it off so all the other publications could pick them up. And that was the marketing behind that. Just taking that skill. And then after that, then started doing up and coming artists' music videos. You know, I had a camera, then I got some lights, and I was running around selling $300, $400, $500 music videos. And I did about 50 of those over the years. And then getting into Oyays, just having all those talents and just incorporating that into the drink. Over time, you know, it grew. Honestly, it was at 1900, 2000, maybe before Vice. Vice really blew it up. You know, Vice really blew it up. But before that, New York Times, Hip Hop DX, I've been going for it. You know, they all ask me, do you want to use your name? Yes. Do you want to use your face? Yes. Put me out there. Because the way I see it is, if 2 things can happen. One thing, if the bad thing happens, IRS or whoever is going to come, you know, that's just something I have to deal with. At the same time, I will use it as PR and marketing to push my brand to the front, the forth. Because the biggest problem is the opportunities that, you know, Black and brown people are not given. You know, the teaching of entrepreneurship, the teaching of business, the teaching of finance that we're not just given. Not everybody's given in school. Like, we're just not taught that. I came out of college looking like, how do I make money? Like, I should have some sort of answer besides get a job coming out of college. And it took me years to really figure out that it's a product, get a product. The services are good. You can make money off the services. And if you build it up, you can get a whole this amount of money. But if you had a product, boom, boom, you build it, yeah, this shit can make millions. And you can really just be, you know, and that took me years and years of trying things, looking job after job, hustle after hustle. And I think that should be taught from beginning. I think that should be taught in school. And it's taught to certain groups of people, I'm sure, in the households, and different programming or whatever. But I just think that the real issue is teaching Black and brown people about entrepreneurship, about money, about finances, about credits and debits and banking and all of that. So they have these tools from young. Maybe Oyays would have came out when I was 25. You know what I'm saying? But now I had to go through and learn so many different ways, and I'm not mad at it because I'm here, because I made it. You know what I'm saying? I made it to where I want to go, and I'm not complacent because I got so much more to do and go. But it's glad to have somebody like Doc and sitting here doing a Zoom and talking to you about my path, you know?
You said this. You said so many things there, man. So many really important things. And I just want to touch on a few of them. So one of the last point that you were making, that like brown and black communities don't necessarily get the business teachings. The truth is, I don't think any real community gets it as a community, but I do think it's all starts in the household. So, like, for instance, your kids are going to be entrepreneurs or have an entrepreneurial mindset because they see your hustle. My kids will likely have a similar mindset also. Same for me. I didn't have, my mom was a doctor, and she worked for the government in St. Albans, the VA hospital there. She was just like a 9-to-5 doctor, and she wasn't like a baller doctor. Like, we were, very humble roots, single parent, that type of deal. So and in fact, she discouraged entrepreneurship. When I came out of my residency, she said, just get a job, just a job at a hospital or for practice, have a steady, stable income. Her big concern was, I want you to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. Whereas, my wife's family, they basically have the American dream. Like my father-in-law came here, he worked his ass off. He was a doctor, but he was also a businessman. And he set up this tremendous empire, became very, very successful. And my wife had that mindset. So we got married, and I was like, shit, I should start a practice. She's like, start a practice. She really pushed me to it. That wasn't my mindset. You know what I mean? So, like, my point is, our kids will benefit from our hustle in terms of expanding their minds, And I think it's really the responsibility really lies on the household, on the families, to teach their kids those types of lessons. You know what I mean? The other part of it is, you're obviously like a hustler. There's like so much stuff that you have going on at all times. Like you're a videographer, basically. What software and stuff were you using? Just because I'm curious to edit your videos.
Final Cut Pro. That's what I learned in Final Cut Pro. Adobe Premiere.
Yeah. So the real shit. You're using like the real stuff. So you're going into like iMovie and making some shitty movie.
I'm learning, and I'm teaching myself.
Right. So you're using like the real, like that's the stuff that we use for like my Instagram posts and for my YouTube videos. And I'm a professional videographer that works full time for me. That we create all this content, and I see the process. It's like a painstaking process that requires a lot of knowledge, and you have to really kind of manipulate the software to get the product that you're looking for. So it's not like you would record a video on your iPhone and be like, okay, it's $500. I'm going to record a video on my iPhone. And you're going to edit an iMovie, which is a lot of the shit that you see out there.
Right.
Like, that's what people offer. Yours was very different. You're like, I have a camera. You probably had a nice camera. And you invested in making a quality product for your consumer, right? So you made one video that turned into 500 videos. Because if you made some piece of shit video, like, no one's going to hire you. Right. That's part of the marketing, right? So even for an Oyay brand, that's part of your marketing. It's like, okay, yeah, I could make a nutcracker and just sell it and say nutcracker, nutcracker, nutcracker. But no, you were probably the first guy to use Ciroc, to use Hennessy, to use Patron. And like, you like kind of jump on that name recognition of a brand that's a little bit elevated. So like, hey, this guy is different. Like that's why that's why I want to, wear Nike and not some off brand. Like these are things, it's like sort of brand recognition,
It's like you don't even imagine how many more sales I got just by saying those brands, because people automatic Henny. Oh, I love Hennessy. They go look like, oh, you got it, and then you give them the smile. You say something else. Come on, you look at it twice. Got to know the price. And now they in the cooler, and now you making sales. So yeah.
I think the important point, one of the important points is, you spent more money to make more money. You know what I'm saying? So like, you invested in premium alcohol, you invested in premium products, like you invested in a nice camera and a nice computer probably to make those videos, to offer a higher end product.
Right.
And so it costs you more money to do it, but that takes balls to like say, what, I'm not going to cut a corner here. Like, let's put the investment in now, offer something that's a little bit more premium. Let's get a better bottle. Let's get a better label. That is all marketing,
Because after I did, because the better bottle didn't come until maybe 2018. Before this, I'm using the ones that everybody used, the other frosted ones. I just got a label on it.
Yeah.
It says Oyays, and I may have a T-shirt on or a flag on my cooler or something like that. So this didn't come until 2018, and I mean the difference I was able to add on price. So before a drink like this, I'm selling for say $7, and now I can sell it for $10. right? And my $10 bottle I can sell for 15.
Right.
And my $20 bottle I can sell for 25.
Right.
So because of that, I was able to actually make more money in the long run.
Right. Right. Smart. So when was that Vice video made, man?
That was August. That was this August.
So yeah, right. I thought it was recent.
Yep.
So like the brand is building, you know, over the course of like 5 or 6 years. The brand is building every summer.
Right.
Like I mean, you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to, but like, say like 2019, which was like hot summer, you know, there was no like Corona and none of that shit going on.
Right.
Yeah, it was popping. How much would you make in a season? Would you say?
In a season, 2019 was my best season yet.
That's what I was here. What was your best season? You know,
my best season, man. I always talk about the best month, man, and the best month was 20K.
Yeah, that was August 2019, right?
That was 2019, and my best event, my best weekend, I made like $11,000.
Amazing.
And you know, and then in that one, I ended up going to all the homecomings down the East Coast to all the black colleges. I made a bunch of those, and either any one of those you can make, you know, between $5,000 and $10,000 each one you go to. And I'm bringing people with me, so I'm also you know, community economics. You know what I'm saying? I've always, since young, learning about prepaid legal when I was 16, I've always tried to add that model to whatever I was doing. And
can you explain what that is?
Prepaid legal is a network marketing company, basically where you sign up. They have legal services, so you can sign people up to do legal services, but you make your real money up on signing other people up to sell the business, to sell prepaid legal. So this is network marketing. Basically, there's probably a bunch of them now. Amway, I can't remember all the other ones that you know there are now. But I've always, you know, even in college, I had these ideas. I was looking at a book the other day, and I had plans that I never did it, but I had plans on having nutcrackers in each dorm and having somebody in each dorm with a case of nutcrackers. And I did the math. And I'm looking at this shit. I'm like, oh shit, this is where it comes from. I never did it, but fast forward to the Oyays, I have friends around me, you know, good guys. I call them Shabas. We got the Shaba gang, and it's a bunch of Shabas, and we're all good guys. We all come from the neighborhood. You know, we embody what Oyays is, and it's like we're from the neighborhood. So we're not better, but we're just a little different. You know what I'm saying? We're not so intertwined into the activities or the negative activities that a neighborhood could, you know, offer people. So I offered them 50% of whatever they do. Whatever you guys sell, you know, it started 60-40, but at some point I was like, you know, these are my friends. I want them to be excited when they sell. I don't want them to be like, they got to break me off 60 and they only get, so let's do half. Let's do 50-50, me and you, 50-50, me and you, 50-50. Me and I have 10 people going, I'm going 50-50 with. So that means I got to have all these drinks so that I can make, if I want to make $3,000, $4,000 for myself, and then I got to make enough drinks so they can make, if somebody wants to make $1,000 today, I got to make sure that I got $2,000 worth of drinks for my man Avery, or I gotta have $2,000 worth of drinks for my man Hot. You know what I'm saying? Or I got a wholesale order. Somebody just called me and said they want 100 drinks at the $5 drink price, because I'm doing 50-50 on the wholesale too, with other people that are not necessarily Shabas that are just call and say, yeah, I'm gonna make some money this weekend. Can I get 100 piece? They'll come pick up the 100 piece, $500, boom, they go sell it for 10, 20, whatever they want to sell it for, they sell it for. So at that point, you know, it's like you can make money, you can make mad money off of it. But it's like, if you don't have the process, and this is what I learned in 2019, I told myself 2020 was gonna be my last year selling drinks in the street, because I see it, I get it. I'm not ready this year, but I am ready to elevate and maybe make 40,000 in a month. And I'm gonna use this money to make sure that this is my last season. And then Corona hit, and that all changed. But the Vice hit, shit, something came good out of it, and now I'm here, and now I have the opportunity, you know, the real opportunity to make 2020 the last year. I either made a drink the last year, I delivered a drink the last year, I do any of that.
So one of the things in the Vice, or I think this was maybe in the New York Times article, I can't remember where, but you're basically like, you know, people call you from, you know, no one could go, bars were closed, nothing was going on, you know, so right. People would have like get-togethers, even in like Long Island and stuff. I think this was the Vice thing, you know, you drive out there, like your people like reach out to you, I guess, on Instagram, right?
Right. So when the Corona hit, so maybe 3 years before, maybe 2017, all the way up until maybe 2017, 2018, I was doing deliveries, or people could come pick up drinks for me. And it wasn't until I moved to Brooklyn when I realized New York City had so much more to offer for a drink seller that can be elusive and have people selling with them. There was so much to offer, and I learned that. So I stopped doing deliveries. I was only doing wholesales, or I was doing events. That was it. If you want drinks, you got to buy them wholesale, or you can meet me at this event, and that's where I'll be at. And then when Corona hit, now ain't nothing to do. I'm twiddling my thumbs. I'm ready to go. 2020, my last year. Ooh, February, I'm thinking about it. Ooh, I think I'm going to start early this year. I think I'm going to start March. I think I'm going to start telling people, March. I'm going to have them on March. And then it hit. Damn, what the fuck am I going to do? I mean, it was a literally standstill. There was nobody outside. Everybody was believing, or everybody was involved. And what was going on, we just had to fucking sit back and watch. So now I'm thinking, boom. So a couple months go by, maybe by May, I'm like, what the fuck is really going on? Like, I mean, they can give me free money. They can do all of that, and that's fine and dandy. But the way my soul and the way my body's made up, I gotta move. I gotta figure ways to do things. I gotta always. I'm getting big. I'm a couch potato. I'm in the couch. It's like, what's going on? So I started doing Instacart. I'm on Instacart, and then it hit me maybe 2 weeks into Instacart. Instacart, by the way, was good money around that time when everybody was sitting down. And really good money. Those days I made like $300-400 in one day.
Wow.
For Instacart. And then it hit me. I said, oh, I could do deliveries.
So you would deliver it for Instacart. What would you do? How would you get the drinks to people?
No, I wasn't doing. No. This is just what sparked the idea to start delivering. Okay. I was doing Instacart. I wasn't doing the drinks.
So, okay, gotcha.
I was doing Instacart. And then 2 weeks into Instacart, I said, I could just do Oyay's Instacart. And I just started putting money into my Instagram. I started putting ad money, $20 on a post, $25 on a post. Or from, just posting and putting, and then from every post, I started getting sales. I would get a $100 order, $200 order, $50 order. Things started picking up. So from every order, I would take 10% of whatever I made and just put it in the next post. And for this summer, that's how I was making some dollars. I was definitely making some dollars. I made $300 a day. It definitely wasn't no, you know what I'm saying? Some days it was $100. Some days I may have only made $50. You know what I'm saying? It really was based on Instagram ads. It was just based on Instagram ads because at that point, people not even really looking. Your friends are not even really, your real friends. They at home. They can make their own drinks. A lot of people are making their own drinks at home. They're not really boom boom. So you got to put it out there for the people that when they see it, because there's a lot of New Yorkers that are not from New York that live here or that just been here for the last year or 2 or 3, and it's like, oh man, I love fucking nutcrackers. Oh, I couldn't wait to get one. Oh, they all on it. And then shit, fucking see it on Instagram, like, oh man, I saw it on Instagram. Yo, let me get 100 of these. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's how Vice found me. New York Times, I think they found it from New York Times through a friend or something like that. And
how did the New York Times find you? Through Instagram?
Through Instagram. One dude, the first article, because I got 2. I got one 2019 and one 2020. And the first one, he said he was just looking, he was hashtagging nutcrackers. They were doing an article on how police are trying to shut down nutcrackers in New York and things of that nature. And he said, yeah, your page just caught my eye. And he talked to me, got to talking. And, once they gave me the light, I'm like, listen here, man, I'm going to tell you how great these drinks are. I'm going to tell you where they're going, where I want them to go. And hopefully somebody will read it and help me out.
That's how you do it. Hey, so those ads that you were placing, were those through like the Facebook ad manager, or was it just boosting posts on Instagram?
I was boosting posts on Instagram.
Oh, really?
At this time, I don't even have a Facebook page. I just recently got a Facebook page after Vice.
Yeah. So these weren't like targeted Instagram ads. You were literally, you were doing whatever the selections are in Instagram, like
I was targeting them.
That, but so right, but through Instagram, you were doing it. Like you're saying
on Instagram, they have the same similar interface as Facebook in terms of like target age, target demographic, words, things of those nature.
Yeah, interesting, man. I see. That's so. Tell me what this summer, man. I mean, obviously this summer was, you kind of got into it a little bit, but everyone, like bars were selling, cocktails and, like that.
So bars start selling nutcrackers. So at the point that I come back out and I started to notice that, wow, because when the New York Times came to me and they did the article, they were like, yeah, all these restaurants are doing it. So now I'm looking and I'm like, oh shit, there goes a nutcracker bottle with a freaking restaurant's name on it, and they selling it like hotcakes, just like I used to sell it. Now I gotta compete with them. I gotta compete with thousands and thousands of unemployed people that have time, and they got a little money coming in from the government, and now they want to make drinks and sell drinks to their friends. So a lot of networks are being crossed that have never been crossed for me. So that's why Instagram, Facebook ads, and all that. I mean, the Instagram ads did really wonderfully for me. I didn't have to do much, and then as the summer opened up, there was some events that did open up. There was some Prospect Park used to have events. I did pretty good one day. I think I made like $4,500 at this event called Freaknik in Prospect Park. There was a couple of wet fets in Prospect Park where I made a couple grand, but nothing at all. Like, but I am still on track, right? The way I see it, I'm still on track with my goals as 2020 being the last time I'll be selling street drinks in the street. I'm moving on to selling street drinks to the world, and it's never been done before. And hopefully, my dreams continue to come true, and my goals, I keep reaching those things, and we can make it happen because that shit would be hot, yo.
It's gonna happen. I have hustler, man. Have you ever been? You said Freaknik. Have you ever been to the actual Freaknik?
I was young, man. No, because Freaknik hasn't been around in a while. By the time I was really ready, I could like drive and take my friend. We go. I think it wasn't going down.
Yeah, so I went to college in Atlanta.
Huh?
So I went to college in Atlanta. I went to Emory. So between like 1993 and 1997 is when I was there.
Okay.
Crazy. Freaknik was like insane.
Right. I know. See, 97, damn, I was 12, 13 around there. My sister used to tell us about it. I used to hear about it from her friends eavesdropping and shit like that.
So tell me, so I'll just kind of take things full circle. So I know you're like this is your last year, hopefully, selling stuff like door to door on the street. What is the plan? So obviously you're like a well-known brand. I don't know, like, a dermatologist from New York City is talking to you. So, the world knows about you.
Right.
And the guy who sent me the video, the Vice video, is like my buddy who lives in like suburban New Jersey.
Right.
He's a lawyer for the government.
He's a what?
So he's a lawyer for the government.
Okay.
He works for the government. But like we're all interested in culture and stuff, and like it was just a great piece. And we kind of just float, and I sent it to a bunch of my friends. So it's just like it was a fascinating story. So you're basically, my point is, a lot of different worlds, a lot of different circles know about you, know about your brand, and like your brand is ever expanding, and like hopefully we're gonna get the word out there with this podcast, and more people will hopefully learn about you and hear your story. I mean, you're charming dude, man. Can't help but to love you, man.
There you go.
What is the plan? So how, like, are you going to sell these to stores, liquor stores?
Yeah. So what I'm working on now, I had to get my LLC in place and trademarks in place. Still working on different things of that nature in terms of the structuring of the business. But the total idea is to get this drink created and then distribute it. So I have to create it. I have to get the formulas for the different flavors. Because as you know, I was using Hennessy, I was using Tampico, or whatever juices I was using. Now I need to create my own juice and get barrels of liquor from a distillery or whatever partner I choose to get these barrels of liquor to make an actual Oyay. So I'm looking to make a few different products of Oyays. You'll have the Oyays Original, which is the Nutcracker brand, and you'll have different flavors and different alcohol brands. You have your Henny Colada, your Cognac Colada, you'll have your Mango Cognac, you have your Vodka Peach, your Rum Punch, and the Honey Jack Lemon, the Whiskey Lemon, things of that nature. And then you'll also have Oyays where you can wine and beer Oyays per se, La Marita type of situation, where I'm trying to not necessarily disrupt the market, but I'm trying to get a piece of that market share on the walk-in. So I'm talking to some investors. I'm talking to some manufacturing companies. I'm talking about different licensing deals, different investment deals. I look to make a decision this month, and so I could push forward. It may not be the final decision and all the investors I choose, but I do wish to start creating Oyays, the actual drink and the actual beer and wine flavor this month. So hopefully 3 to 6 months down the line, I'll have them in different markets. I mean, it's huge. I'm getting calls from Singapore. I'm getting calls from Canada. I'm getting calls from the Caribbean. Like you said, all walks of life, really tuning in and enjoying it as much as I have been for these last years. So it's pretty dope to be able to. And then it's also like, if you, like you said, social media, like everything that's on the Instagram page uh, is me. I'm in the crib editing real quick. I do all that stuff in the morning. I get up about 7 in the morning, 7:30, and I have 3 pages. I got the Shaba gang page, I got my personal page, and I got the Oyays page. So I try to, create something, a post for each a day. I try to meet that and do what I got to do. I also did production work, freelance production work. So I was the first assistant director on different jobs for Facebook, Ancestry, worked with different artists like J Balvin, Tiana Taylor. So I've been so that's after I quit the man. I went freelance in production, still while selling Oyays. So now I'm at the point where I want Oyays to be a full-time brand. I want Oyays to be around the world, and I'm going for it 100%. I'm 110, 120, 1,000%, and I'm not stopping until I get there. I usually stop. November, I usually stop. I put the Oyays away, and I come back about April, and we do it again. So I'm not stopping right now. I want the people to keep tuning in, man. And Doc, man, I appreciate you.
I love it, man. So you're doing video production for those artists?
Yeah, I was part of the production team. So you have your director, you have your first assistant director. So your first assistant director on set is the guy that's calling action, cut. He's telling people where to be. He's communicating everything the director needs to communicate to the staff, communicate to talent, making sure the day is run on time, schedule-wise. So a lot of the skills that I've gotten all over the years, I've been able to inculcate that in production. In terms of coaching, because I get to be loud, I get to be fun, I get to make people feel good, but at the same time, I have to make sure that the day is running on time and the director gets all the shots that he needs, so that the people, when they consume the content, everybody's happy.
Amazing, man.
Yeah.
I've kept you here for a long time, but there are just a few things I want to say just to close out a little bit, man. So, you're a guy who sets goals, and you really chip away at them, and a big part of my platform is actually like empowering folks, and just how hustle and grind can really create a lot of self-empowerment. And a big part of that is accountability. Like, sort of, you set a goal and you're accountable to the goal that you set. So one of the things you just said was, like, you posted 3 Instagram pages a day, and you do what you got to do before you start your day. You're accountable to your goal. Like, so in your head you're like, okay, I got to post to these 3 pages. And like, you do it. And one of the things that winners have in common is they're true to whatever they make themselves accountable for. Otherwise, they've failed the day. They've lost the day. And, you're a guy who doesn't want to lose the day, obviously. So, you have all these things you need to get done. And if you don't do it, then you're going to feel like a loser.
Right.
You don't want to go to sleep until it gets done, And that's a big part of it. And another thing that you mentioned earlier, which I also want to talk about, is like, you said like you had a notebook in college, which you found, where you were like writing down your business model, your ideas. And a lot of like actually achieving a goal is speaking it into existence. Like, I have no doubt that Oyay is going to be a global brand. You said it, and I know you will make that happen. And the last thing that you said was, or not the last thing, one of the things that you said also was, you're going to keep at it until it happens, right? Because a lot of people will give up. Like, this was a shitty summer for a lot of people. This is a shitty time for a lot of people. And a lot of people who they were like you, 2019 was your biggest year. 2020 was probably the worst year you had in a while. But you survived it, you made it happen, and you still were plugging away at your goal, knowing that all the work you're putting into it, it will somehow manifest into whatever your dream is. And whether that happens in 2020, which is when you wanted to stop, or if it happens in 2025, you're not going to stop until it happens. I had a guest on my podcast who said, the word focus, you're someone who's tremendously focused. He uses the word focus as like an acronym. Follow one course until successful, right? Follow one course until successful. Focus. That's what you are all about. Like, that's really what I'm getting from your energy. I mean, obviously a wonderful human being, got a great vibe and all the positivity and stuff, but even just the name Oyay and the derivation, how you derive that name as sort of the exact yang of the negative yin in the community. Like, you're the exact opposite, or the yin to the yang, whichever it is. But I love it, man. I love it. And everything that you said embodies what this podcast is all about.
Right.
It's about really setting a goal, hustling, grinding towards your goal, getting your daily win, doing one thing every day that gets you one step closer to your goal. And I love that energy, man. And that's why I know that you're going to be hugely successful, man.
Nah, man, I appreciate it, man. And for the listeners, and there's some people out there, I want to say this, that don't beat yourself up so much if you don't get it in that day. Keep striving for it and keep going for it, and you keep in placing certain habits, because it's hard to change habits. And if you beat yourself up every day, you're definitely not you're gonna stop doing it because you're failing and you're not feeling good about it. So nobody likes to fail all the time. So, change the way you look at it. Just make sure you keep going for it, and eventually you'll get that win. And once that win hits, all of those failures will look like and feel like wins as well.
Totally, man. Failure way to success, baby.
And to end it off, I like to say Shabala. I want the people to get onto that. It's a word I created years ago when I started the Oyays. Shabala means everything righteous moving forward. It's the Shaba gang. We do music, positive music, pushing that vibe. We definitely got that street energy. We come from the street, but we definitely not, preaching, stealing, or killing, or anything of those natures in our music and in our films and the things that we were doing later on in life. So it's Shaba gang, Shabala, everything righteous moving forward. Tune in. We live. Oh!
I love it, man. Where can people find you? The last thing, man. Where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, hit me on the Instagram, Oyays, Oyays, right here on the shirt if you can see it, Oyay.Mayo, Oyay.Mayo, or you can hit the Shabas. It's a bunch of us. We all used to play ball. We all got talents, models, actors, artists, and we all doing our thing. So you can find them on Shaba Gang, ShabaGang.
Shabala, my man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, man. Really,
I appreciate y'all.
Thank you for listening to the Dr. Mudgil podcast. The audio for this podcast can be found on Apple's iTunes and SoundCloud. Let's get it.